Technological infrastructure is never politically agnostic. Every wire and database serves as the physical architecture of a governing ideology. We can see the roots of this in Chile in 1971. The government launched Project Cybersyn, an ambitious effort to build a distributed national decision support system to manage the country's economy. President Salvador Allende wanted to manage newly nationalized industries without adopting a Soviet-style command and control system. He sought to encode democratic socialism directly into a network. The physical layer of this infrastructure was a web of telex machines. These allowed state-run enterprises to transmit production data and worker absenteeism numbers to the government in Santiago in near real time. That data flowed into a processing core in the capital, where mainframes ran statistical models to predict future economic trends based on raw factory inputs. This was based on the viable system model, a cybernetic theory designed to devolve decision-making power. The goal was to give factory workers more autonomy, not less. The system used a mechanism called algorithmic feedback. If a metric fell out of range, workers were alerted first. If they couldn't fix it within a set interval, the issue escalated, hard-coding worker self-regulation into the data flow. The Cybersyn Ops Room was more than a technical hub. It was a physical algorithm designed to enforce a specific political vision across an entire nation. But Cybersyn's physical network was vulnerable. In 1973, a military coup abruptly terminated the experiment, and the incoming regime destroyed the ops room. While mainframes can be physically dismantled, today's ideological battles are fought over ubiquitous, intangible algorithms that function across borders. A 2025 thesis by Gyan Prakash Tripathi argues that this struggle to encode ideology has moved into the realm of global AI standardization. The bare bones of modern infrastructure, algorithmic architectures, and training parameters have become the new telex tapes, carrying deep political consequences. Major world powers now recognize that these technical specifications are a critical strategic domain, as important as any military or economic asset. While a bomb can destroy a single building, locking an ideology into a global technical standard ensures that those values are replicated in every system that follows the code. This battle is being waged inside standard-setting bodies like the ITU and ISO, headquartered in Geneva. The race for AI supremacy has shifted away from who has the fastest chips to who writes the rules for how those chips are used. This is competitive norm diffusion. It's the process where states use technical bodies to spread preferred cultural and political values to the rest of the world. Seemingly neutral technical parameters shape whether fundamental rights, such as privacy, equality, and due process, are built into AI systems or left out entirely. States weaponize these forums by stacking committees with delegates and leveraging voting blocks to turn their national preferences into global defaults. If a nation successfully standardizes how an AI identifies a face, they have effectively set the legal and technical boundaries for global privacy. We can see this in the European Union's approach. The EU operates as a regulatory state, exercising power through market rules and legal frameworks.
Through the Brussels effect, the EU uses its massive market to export its trustworthy AI framework, forcing global companies to adopt European norms. This strategy embeds fundamental human rights directly into the technical definitions of what makes an AI system safe or interoperable. The United States, by contrast, relies on a market-driven approach, utilizing established institutions like the IEEE and its dominance in the private sector. The U.S. favors voluntary alignment and corporate innovation, hoping to advance liberal democratic values through market lead rather than central regulation. China takes a realist approach, treating AI standardization as a strategic bid for state sovereignty and control over information. At the ITU, China has aggressively submitted dozens of proposals for facial recognition standards that prioritize state monitoring. These surveillance-heavy proposals often face organized resistance from a democratic coalition of the US and EU, creating a stalemate over the global baseline for privacy. AI standardization is a bloodless war where the EU regulates, the US markets, and China attempts to encode state control into the global digital baseline. However, the major powers cannot dictate these rules alone. They operate in a polycentric system where they need coalitions to win. India leverages its AI for all philosophy to act as a bridge, representing the democratic global north while addressing the needs of the global south. South Korea acts as a mediator, using its technical expertise to navigate the friction between Eastern and Western technological systems. Australia uses standardization as regional diplomacy, amplifying liberal values across the Asia-Pacific. These middle powers are the swing states of the digital age. Their alignments will determine which ideological bloc reaches global scale. This competition is revealing a deeper structural problem that is beginning to fracture the global internet. It is called the sovereignty interoperability paradox, and it presents an irreconcilable tension for modern states. Digital sovereignty requires a state to control its critical infrastructure, to protect its national security and social values. But global interoperability requires shared technical baselines so that systems can talk to each other across borders and capture market advantages. AI makes this paradox unsolvable. A system designed to protect human rights cannot easily interoperate with a system designed for total state surveillance. Governments are finding that absolute digital sovereignty and frictionless global AI interoperability are politically incompatible. This tension suggests a likely path forward. We are seeing a hard splintering of the AI ecosystem into two distinct, non-communicating technological blocks. In this scenario, one block encodes democratic accountability, while the other hard-codes state control. Project Cybersyn stands as a historical reminder that political infrastructure is shaped by the hands of those who design the code. From the telex paper of the 1970s to the algorithmic parameters of today, the underlying lesson is the same: code is law. The technical standards established in this decade will define the scope of fundamental rights for the next generation. The decisions once made in a single room in Santiago have evolved into the invisible architecture of the global network.